Testimony, Representative for Tennessee's 5th Congressional District, Congressman Andy Ogles. Thanks so much for being with us. It's great to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So what's your response to this testimony? What's your takeaway from everything we're seeing here?
Oh, I think what you're seeing here is the unfolding of a two-tier justice system. You know, this prosecution of Trump isn't a prosecution, it's a persecution. Meanwhile, you have Hunter Biden getting a sweetheart of a deal on tax evasion and gun charges that you and I would go to jail for. And so if you're the American people, you should be concerned at the gross misuse and abuse of power by the FBI and, quite frankly, the Biden administration.
Yeah, absolutely. And this reaches some of the deepest levels of government. A presidential candidate allegedly commissioned a false dossier, and the FBI was in cahoots. Will anything ultimately be done about this?
Well, you know, we're having oversight and judiciary committees. I think ultimately the outcome of this is you're going to see, in my prediction, that Biden will be impeached. There will be a due process, you know, in time. But that being said, I don't know that enough can be done. I mean, at this point, the FBI is corrupt at its core. Like the congressman said earlier, it's systemic, which means as Republicans, we've got to win the House, we've got to win the Senate, we've got to win the White House in 24, so we can quite frankly purge the wokeness that has infected our country and the bureaucracy that is Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I could not agree more. As you alluded to, there's so many establishment actors that need to leave. And you tweeted recently, Biden is a disgrace to the Oval Office, and you've introduced articles of impeachment. What do you see playing out here? How do you see this ending? Do you think we actually have a chance here to make this happen?
I think we will. You know, there's two paths for impeachment. One would be the privilege motion, which forces it to the floor. That is typically a tool that's used by the minority party, but it can be used by the majority party. So the Republicans could leverage that if need be. Then there's also the House and Judiciary, so the committee process. So that's underway. You have Comer and Jim Jordan both having hearings in their respective committees that will ultimately lead to, my hope is, the impeachment of Biden. And let's be honest, you know, as these investigations continue to go on, there may be a circumstance where we impeach him more than once. And I think, quite frankly, the American people need to know that we're here, we're the watchdogs, we're in the watchtower, and we're fighting for you. We're not going to stop, we're not going to relent, and this corrupt justice system has got to be purged.
It absolutely does. Well, we're definitely holding out and hoping and praying that something does happen, and we're counting on you guys to make it happen. So thank you for all that you're doing there. Going back to Hunter Biden, do you think that the deal he got would have been offered to an average American, or how does the big guy's involvement here, have to do with the outcome of what we saw happen with Hunter?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the big guy, you know, his fingerprints are all over this. You know, the Biden White House is really been selling out America. You know, I call it Biden Inc. It's a criminal enterprise. I think that's why you're going to see him impeached. But yeah, I mean, you and I said it earlier, you and I would go to jail for these things. Other people have gone to jail for this type of tax evasion and or gun charges, and yet he gets off with a slap on the wrist because his last name's Biden. And so, look, if this is the new standard, if this is the new precedent, then it needs to be applied evenly across the board. So whether you're a plumber, a teacher, or happen to be a wealthy Biden, that you get treated the same way. But what we've seen, again, I'll say it again, the prosecution is a persecution of Donald Trump, and yet you see this double standard with the Biden family getting off scot-free. I, for one, think we should impeach Biden, Kamala Harris, and Mayorkas, and we should do it as quick as possible.
Amen to that. Couldn't agree more. Well, Congressman, we're all out of time for today, but thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Have a good day.